Bog Harbor Fish House here, and today we're going to crack a Dungeness crab. We have a fresh local crab in here that was delivered this morning. The chefs cooked it in the back and cleaned it. So what they did first is they ripped off the head, they cleaned out the insides so that we could serve it on a plate and get ready to eat it here. So you pull off the head, and you've got your nice clean crab here. You can see this is your body, you've got your legs here. I think the best way to start attacking this crab is to take it and break it in half. And simply grab it and just give it a little crack like that, and it separates, and now you have two halves. All right, so now we have our crab in front of us. We're ready to start cracking and eating. So I like to first separate the claw, and then I'm gonna break the legs apart. This makes everything a little bit easier to handle. So I grab the body with my left hand here, I'm right-handed, and then I just give a tear and pull the legs off, okay? I'm gonna set that down. All right, now I have the crab is separated, and I'm gonna start cracking and eating. Some people like to crack and pick all the meat out and make a pile of crab meat, and then they'll eat the pile of meat. I can't wait for that. So what I like to do is I like to crack my claw, eat my claw, and then I move to the next leg, and so on and so on. So I take some kind of a crab cracker, a lobster cracker, a walnut cracker, any kind of cracker that's gonna crack the shell open. Some people might take their crab and put it on a counter with a little mallet and split it first. I like to open that up. I put it inside my claw inside, and I give it a little squeeze until you hear a little bit of a crack. I don't go too heavy, and I go to my knuckle, and then I'm gonna go down to the back piece, and I just wanna get a nice score on it, okay? So once I get my score, then I can grab it and then give it a little bit of a break and pull out a beautiful clean nugget. There's nothing left inside there. I keep a bowl on the side so I can fill my shells. So I grab my little oyster fork, or I stick it inside, and I kind of do a scoop out of the meat. Some people like to try and get that whole piece out intact so it's one giant piece, which I'm trying to do now to show you. So that's a pretty clean piece of meat right there. And again, I'm not gonna wait, I gotta eat it. So my first bite is going in a little melted butter, okay? Absolutely divine. Now I'm gonna open up my claw. So we made our score there. And I'm gonna slowly try and keep this guy intact and pull the claw nice and whole out. And then there's a little piece of like tendon that runs up inside this claw. You can see the meat moving. So I like to loosen it up a tad. And then I'm gonna use my oyster fork. Oyster fork becomes your friend in this. And then I'm gonna stick him in there and try and get that big chunk out and use my finger to help pull it out. Okay, and there's that cartilage that's in there. So I now have a nice chunk of claw meat. I'm gonna do one leg, show you what a leg looks like. Same theory, put the leg right in between your cracker. Give it a snap. Give this side a snap. Give that side a snap. Put it down. Give it a little twisty with your two hands. And then you just kind of peel it apart. The harder you pull, the more you'll break. It also depends on how the crab was cooked, how fresh it is. If it's chilled enough, it depends on how it's gonna come out of the shell, if it comes intact. So right here, we've got a nice intact leg meat right there. I'm gonna open this guy up. There's not as much meat inside this part of the leg, so a lot of times I don't pick it too much at it. Some people will actually get the meat out with their teeth. They'll put the entire shell in their mouth and suck the meat out. We have a lot of guests in the restaurant that do like to eat their crab that way. they'll just chew on the shells, and that's perfectly acceptable. Now that I've devoured a claw and that first leg, let's go ahead and take a look at the body. So the body has the meat inside these little cavities here, okay? But there's also parts of the shell and the cartilage that separate, or that embrace these nuggets of meat. So a couple different ways. You can peel at it, you can flick it out with the exposed parts here with your fork, or what I like to do is I like to kind of give it a little squeeze to loosen it up, and then I break it in half, okay? You can also start, once you've broken it in half, you can start scooping your meat out. It just comes right out of these little cavities here, okay? These little caverns and cavities. And again, like I showed you with the claw, a lot of people do like to chew on the shell. So sometimes I'll even take it and dip it in there and chew on it a little bit and suck out the meat. So I'm just gonna keep squeezing this and picking at it until I get all my meat out. And kind of now we have a little bit of a pile of meat from the body. And that's kind of how you do it. It's a little bit of work, but when you've got a wonderful fresh crab, it's very rewarding. And there you have it. Fresh Dungeness crab. Crack it, eat it, have fun with it. Enjoy.